Ain't nothing personal.
If you're just getting into cycling, one of the biggest sources of confusion is the jargon around bike types. We're here to help you tell the difference between road racers, sportive bikes, cyclocrossers and more. Along with the bike boom of the last decade, there's been a boom in the types of bike on offer as the bike industry tries to offer us bikes that are just right for the wide range of riding we do. You can ride and have a great time on just about anything, but if you're shopping for a bike, it's handy to know what the different types are best at. Bike fit, the key to comfort and efficiency. Other than your busy life, what is holding you back from riding your bike every day? If you could change one thing about your bike, what would it be? If you are suffering from numb hands or toes, knee pain, lower back pain, shoulder discomfort or any number of other aches and pains after riding your bike, it is likely due to improper bike fit. Getting a professional bike fit is one of the most commonly skipped steps when buying a new bike, but it is one of the most important. If you want to ride happily and pain-free for many years and miles to come, do yourself a favor and give yourself the gift of a proper bicycle fit. Proper bike fit. What is bike fit? Everyone's body is different. Some of us have long legs and short torsos, some women struggle to reach their brake levers due to small hands, some people may pedal a little bit differently than others, maybe you have one leg that is slightly longer than the other and you never even knew it. In addition to our bodies being the way they are, injuries or personal goals can affect how your bike should be set up to maximize comfort, efficiency and power. Luckily, bicycles are machines with many adjustable parts. In fact, every touch point on the bike can be changed out, altered or moved to fit you better. Although there are many different theories to bike fit, the main idea is to make adjustments to the bike's components with these goals in mind. Enhancing overall rider comfort. Preventing injuries. Diagnosing saddle discomfort. Reducing or eliminating pain and numbness. Reducing or eliminating discomfort associated with riding. Reducing rider fatigue by enhancing efficiency. Improving overall performance on the bike.
The gearing you have on your road bike is one of the most important things to get right if you are to maximize the enjoyment of your riding, and has a significant impact on how fast and far you're able to ride. If your gears are too low, or, in other words, too easy, you might be left behind as you spin out. If they're too high, the danger is you'll be unable to turn the pedals fast enough when the going gets tough, or will come to a grinding halt on a steep climb. No one wants to get left behind in either scenario, so if you're struggling to make a decision on what gears you need on your bike, read on for our beginner's guide. We'll cover the impact your gear ratios have on power input, the importance of cadence, your options when it comes to gear ratios, and how to use your gears efficiently. How does gear ratio affect power output? You may have heard this before, but power output is the single most important factor that determines your speed. Your gearing, and the resistance it presents, is what allows you to transfer the power generated at your legs to the wheels and the road. Put simply, power is a derived number made up from the multiplication of torque and cadence, says Brian Taylor, president of Verve Cycling, leaders in power meter technology. Both torque, the force you apply to the cranks to turn them, and cadence, the rate at which you turn the cranks, are critically important for the cyclist to ride the way that their body is designed or trained to. In short, your gears should allow you to get the most from the power you're able to produce, but not every rider is the same in how they generate power. A really strong rider might turn the cranks slower but harder, achieving 250 watts, says Taylor. A less strong rider might turn the cranks 30% faster, but with 30% less pressure and achieve the same power output. This means that the strong rider may be more suited to a bigger gear, while the less strong rider would be better matched to a smaller gear to get the same power out. This, in fact, shows the two riders are as strong as each other, but they use their gears differently to put the power down. As a result, Taylor says, you first need to ask yourself what type of gearing will play to your strengths and what is the most efficient way for you to ride. Do you like to spin an easy gear or push a harder gear?
Whether you're buying a new bike, or upgrading your current steed, the group set will make a big difference to your enjoyment and speed. More expensive components mean less weight, easier shifting and greater comfort, but there are options available at every price point. The leading manufacturers for these essential elements, the chainset, cassette, shifters, chain and derailleurs, are Shimano, SRAM and Campagnolo. Of the three, Shimano is most popular among our customers. The Shimano hierarchy. Shimano make quality components that fit out a good percentage of bikes in the pro peloton. However, they are fully aware that not everyone is willing or able to fork out for pro-worthy components. Group sets begin with Claris, which is still good quality and hard-working, then work up to Dura Ace, which has a strong presence on the professional racing scene, and there are plenty of options along the way. Here's a look at what you get for your cash saddle important. In a nutshell. Never underestimate the importance of a well-fitting saddle. A saddle that suits you will go unnoticed as you ride, but get it wrong and you'll suffer soreness from friction and even acute pain. There are three important factors when choosing a saddle: your riding position, the type of riding and terrain. Our buying guide is here to help you ride in comfort, whatever your preferred style of cycling. Road bike saddles. What are bike saddles made of? On the whole, saddles are constructed on 3 levels. Basic models will use a plastic, nylon base and chromoly steel rails. Next come saddles that use titanium rails. Carbon fiber is now used throughout high-end saddle designs, with the advantage of being very low weight. Basic saddle models will carry a little more weight than more expensive designs but are significantly cheaper. Even though the materials will be different, they will share the same design. Titanium saddle designers can significantly reduce weight and a titanium rail will have a little more spring and flex than steel, which can add some comfort, by using titanium instead of steel. What is the most common model for a bike saddle? Carbon fiber is the most common type of model for high-end designs today. Most carbon rails are oversized, larger in diameter than standard metal rails, so make sure your C8 post clamp is compatible before you buy. Some people prefer a comfortable road bike saddle with a pressure relief design. Saddles like this have a top surface with a channel or hole, commonly called a cutout, to prevent excess pressure on your sensitive areas. Physics versus Range uses a channel section adapted into their existing design, whereas Celitalia have a whole range of saddles with large cutouts with both men's and women's specific shapes like the Celitalia SLR Flow. Road bike saddles like Physics Arian or a Specialized 2 are well suited to those who ride in a low, stretched out positions. What is the best bike saddle for road bikes, racing bikes? Riders with an aggressive riding position on the road, if you're racing or riding a bike with race geometry, will benefit from a specific saddle shape. The road bike saddle that best suits an aggressive position in fast riding will have a flat profile, allowing you to shift your weight back and forth on the saddle as you change your riding position. Women's bike saddles versus men's bike saddles, is there a difference? Women's performance saddles are adapted from men's designs, with the padded areas placed differently. Women's saddles tend to be wider at the sit bone points and a little shorter in overall length. Punctures are an inevitable part of cycling, so you need to know how to fix them. This is a lot easier if you carry spare in your tubes and a puncture repair kit, patches, sandpaper and rubber solution, a couple of tire levers and a pump on every ride. Find the puncture. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to take the wheel off your bike, or even the tire completely off the wheel, to fix a puncture. First, you need to get the punctured tube out of the tire. Flip the bike, grab your tire levers and hook the first one under the bead of tire. Push down to lever the tire over the edge of the rim. Take the second tire lever and do the same about 15 centimeters away. This should allow you to slide one of the tire levers around the rim, popping out the rest of the tire edge. If not, use a third tire lever. Cycling, how to ride in the rain. Once you have one side of the tire completely out of the rim, you can pull out the tube, leaving just the area around the valve in place. Check over the tube to see where the hole is. The easiest way is to pump some air into the tube, then immediately listen and feel to find where the air is escaping. If you're at home you can use a bucket of water, submerging sections of tube and looking for telltale bubbles. Don't forget to check the tire and remove whatever caused the flat in the first place. If there's not an obvious shard of glass, thorn or nail poking out of the tire, then feel gently around the inside of the tire with your fingers. If you still can't find anything, you can line up the inner tube with the tire to get a rough fix on the offending area. You really want to be satisfied you've removed the culprit. There's nothing more dispiriting than getting another puncture 5 minutes down the road. Fix the puncture. Once you've found the hole in the tube, mark it with pen or chalk in case you lose your place. Use a small piece of sandpaper to lightly rub around the puncture to provide a better surface for the rubber solution. Apply the glue to the tube, enough to cover the size of the patch. Leave the solution for a minute or two to get tacky. If you add the patch too soon, the repair won't hold. Pull the silver foil off the back of the patch, and be careful not to touch this side as you don't want to get it dirty. Put the patch over the hole and hold it firmly in place for a minute. You can leave the paper side attached, but if you want to remove it, make sure you allow a few minutes for the glue to dry properly first. Pump a little air into the tube to check the repair is holding, and to avoid nipping the tube between the tire and the rim. Push the tube back into the tire, and put the tire back on. If you use tire levers here, be careful not to pinch the tube otherwise you risk another puncture. Fully inflate and you're off. But there is an easier way. It is quicker and more reliable, although more expensive and wasteful, to change the tube. Many serious cyclists carry 2 spare tubes and a mini repair kit just in case. This time, you need to remove the wheel first. Pop off one side of the tire, as above, and remove the puncture tube. Again, don't forget to check the tire for what caused the puncture and remove that, too. With one side of the tire still on the wheel, slightly inflate the new tube and push into the tire. You can use tire levers to get the second side of the tire back over the rim but, again, be careful not to nip the tube. Put the wheel back on the bike and you're off. The whole process should take no longer than 5 minutes once you've done it a few times. You can patch the damaged tube when you get home if you like.